Conflict between Israeli forces and Hamas militants is escalating in the worst violence seen in the region in years. Hundreds of rocket and airstrikes have left more than 40 people dead, with the United Nations Middle East envoy warning hostilities are moving towards a full-scale war. The deadly fighting follows weeks of near-nightly protests over forced evictions in East Jerusalem. Joining me now from Tel Aviv is journalist Sarah Coates from I24 News. Thank you very much for your time. What's the latest news on the ground there?
Yeah, good morning, Nat. Well, this region, as you mentioned, is absolutely descending into chaos. We're just on our way back now from Jerusalem, and we've had teams all across the region. You mentioned Hamas and the rocket fire, which we experienced here in Tel Aviv last night. Another very sleepless night for residents here in Israel, even from my apartment in Tel Aviv, where the rocket fire barely ever gets to. We managed to get about just 1 hour's sleep. We probably had about 3 rounds of rocket fire, more than 150 rockets shot over from the Gaza Strip. You can see them there on your screen into Tel Aviv. Most of those rockets intercepted by the Iron Dome missile defense system. Although now the country is really waking up to a different reality today, the reality of shocking violence, which is spreading from the south all the way up to the north, really centered around a lot of these neighborhoods that have Arab and Jewish residents. We are seeing terrible incidents coming from both sides. We're seeing far right-wing Jews lynching Arabs, and we are seeing Arab mobs doing the same thing on the other side. We're seeing shop windows smashed as authorities here are calling for calm. And as you mentioned, the UN's Guterres is calling for escalation ASAP. We've got more than 50 Palestinians dead on that side. And just a short while ago, the death toll rose to at least 7 here in Israel with the death of a 6-year-old boy. This little boy was actually sheltering inside his rocket shelter there in southern Israel, and the rocket actually penetrated this shelter and critically wounded this little boy. So it's really shaping up to be a few more days of terrible fighting here now.
Sarah, as you say, this dome defence system is supposed to protect the city, but some of the rockets are getting through. Explain to us from the ground there what it is actually like to experience a rocket strike.
Wow. Well, I've been in one before, but it was literally 1 or 2 rockets coming over. Last night, I just come off air. We heard the sirens. So Hamas basically said to Israel, if you do not remove these security forces from the Temple Mount by 6 o'clock, we will start shooting rockets. So they started shooting rockets into the south around 6 o'clock. Then they said, if you do not adhere to these other demands by 9, we will start shooting at Tel Aviv. Now, our studios, if you look that way, that is Tel Aviv. We are in Jaffa, just through there. So the rockets actually come from the south, which is that way, right over the hill. And they were on time. 2 minutes ahead of time, actually, Hamas began shooting a barrage of rockets into Tel Aviv. These rockets were intercepted, most of them, by the Iron Dome missile defense system just above our studio. We were all rushed to a safe room, although the booms from these interceptions were just so strong that the reinforced windows outside our studios were shaking. Then overnight, I don't even have a rocket shelter, along with many people in my building in Tel Aviv. So they tell you to just lay on the floor, cover your head, and wait till you hear the boom. So that's basically what we were doing all last night. And that rocket fire is continuing into tonight, and we can expect it to last for the next few days.
Yeah, just a terrible situation for obviously everyone there. You're doing an extraordinary job. I'm sure your family will be happy to see you on air and see that you're safe. Sarah, thank you for your time this morning.